Betwabu, everybody. Betwabu. Top of the day, beautiful people. Top of the day. Tiffany Betwabu, y'all Betwabu. Betwabu. All right, y'all. Spread my cameras out all over my lips. I don't know why I said it. I just feel like I need to do it because when I start talking, I feel like my lips just gonna get dry. Although I slather my lips with Carmex first thing in the morning. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, beautiful people. Today it is Tuesday. Tuesday. I was about to say May. I had to get my months right. March the 24th, 2020, day 105. And we are in 2 Kings 3, 4, and 5. All right, y'all, I know y'all heard the news. It doesn't seem so dire. It didn't seem so dire yesterday when the governor of Virginia said that tonight at midnight that our self-quarantine will go into effect. But he was like super extra nice saying it. And it's like, wait, what did he just say? Did he say we was going on quarantine or not? Did he just say, everybody just please stay in your homes? Like the way he said, like I had to go listen to it a couple times. I'm like, so is he quarantining us or not? But he said, well, he did as of midnight tonight. He said all non-essential businesses are to cease operating. You know, fast food places can still be open, but only with the drive-through. Of course, essential personnel or whatever. But he said everybody else. It was like he was saying, let's just all, let's just do the right thing. Everybody stay in the house. He was. I'm like, is he not? Is this a suggestion? Or are we being ordered? That's how nice he said it, where I had to go listen to it a couple of times just to make sure. And even the reporters said, okay, just to be absolutely clear, exactly what are we doing? So he did. He reiterated. He said that it goes into effect midnight tonight, that businesses that are non-essential must close down. And of course, he said, you go to your homes, you can still go out to exercise. You can go take a walk in a park. Just make sure we're practicing social distancing and everything, So I'm like, okay, yeah. Then he did say that he had given the authorities of the localities within our state to enforce going in the house measures and breaking up crowds of people still gathered in groups of 10 or more, So I'm like, okay, I just need to make sure, But they did go over the list of what is considered essential personnel. I still don't understand how liquor stores are essential personnel, but they get to stay open. He says as long as they're practicing social distancing, he let them stay open or whatever. Okay, whatever, But of course, hospitals and all the essential personnel, to the essential personnel like daycares. He got his. I'm giving you a first warning, Daddy. Good, Tiffany, listen. Me and Alicia was talking about it last. I said, Alicia, listen. You know how you got two parents and one play good cop, one play bad cop? I said it seemed like yesterday the governor of Virginia, he's a nice cop parent, but he was being made by the bad cop parent to be a little bit tougher on the kids. I said, that's what it sounded. We were cracking up last night. You hit it right on the head, Tiffany. Yeah, I'm giving you the first warning, daddy voice. Because mama made me. So y'all need to just calm down. That way I ain't gotta, we ain't gotta take any steps further. We still gonna go out and get the pizza. But, mama said calm down. So just bring your noise levels down just a little bit, okay? And we all good. I ain't gotta whip your butt. You ain't got to be mad at me. We can still go to the game this weekend. So that's what it seemed like. That's what it seemed like to me. And so we were cracking up yesterday. That it just... Good rising, Nikki. Good rising. But that's what it seemed like yesterday. I'm like, okay. But he did say, after he got done saying all that, all jokes aside, he said that if people are not, following directions, they will, and they have the authority to go ahead and enforce it a little bit further, So But I was like, okay, so, but like I said, of course, hospitals, the daycares, like my daughter-in-law, her daycare is opening back up, but only for hospital workers or medical workers and military. Um, it was something. It was like a few list of things. Of course, the pharmacies will stay open. The grocery stores are going to stay open. But they're still. They said they still need to be practicing social distancing and stuff. And I think some of the WalMarts now, they're actually filtering people in. So I believe they're not letting more, because Walmart is so big. A couple of them around here is they're not letting in more than like 50 people at a time, so somebody counting. You can't go in there just like window shopping. Like, I'm going to Walmart, walk around for a while because I need to get out of the house. Ain't gonna be none of that. Hey, hunty, you got to get in and you got to get what you're gonna get and get on back out, so. And also, surprisingly, somebody actually bought up our trade, and he said our trade was considered essential personnel, the construction trade, because we're classified under construction. So thank y'all. Our people can still keep working. And plus, we have projects where we're working in the cemeteries and the hospitals and stuff, so the furniture industry is part of the construction trade. So if they need more build out of furniture, reconfigures, and whatever is going on, of course, when we go into the hospitals, of course, I mean, not people extra careful, but even more so now. So that was pretty cool. My brother little teed about it in Washington because he's in the same trade. He said, how is furniture essential personnel? So, but it's under the construction trade, and he said they will not be shutting the construction trade down. And plus, my mom had brought up a real good point, because most people, well, it just depends. I mean, if they ain't shutting it down, they're just going to be doing the projects everywhere, because we have to coordinate with the buildings, facility people when we can come in. But if they're sending everybody home, we can just get in, get stuff done, and get on out, because the building's going to be pretty much vacant anyway. Everybody's working from home who can work from home unless they're essential personnel, so that was a little update. But yeah, so yeah, it was nothing else. Yeah, he'll be coming on. He changed, like I said yesterday, he changed his time starting yesterday from coming on doing updates from 11 in the morning to 2. And then the Surgeon General has showed back up again, so he said it's about to get a whole lot worse this week. And how that, I don't know where, maybe everywhere, maybe they're seeing trends or just following the data and trying to foresee what's about to happen, or based on previous data. That's probably what they're doing. So we'll see. But all I know is we good over here. So, all right, y'all. With that being said, today we are reading 2 Kings 3, 4, and 5. Okay. It's not that long. 27, 44. Well, chapter 4 is. It's 44 verses. Okay. Now Jehoram, the son of Ahab, began to reign over Israel in Samaria the 18th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, and reigned 12 years. And he wrought evil in the sight of Yahuwah, but not like his father and like his mother, for he put away the image of Baal that his father had made. I won't be working from home. I thought I was going to get a break. Well, yeah, it's a blessing for some. Some people do need a break, but it's a blessing for those of us who can continue working, who can continue getting paid. So thank y'all. They do have. I think I mentioned this yesterday. They actually put out the executive order during this time. I think every state that has shut down have done it, where the bills and utilities and stuff, and they're making it illegal to evict people who can't pay their rent during this time because of the pandemic. So they pretty much said put everything on hold. But for those of us who can keep working, we can keep paying our bills and stuff, so we don't get behind or have payments pushed to the back where we have to pay on stuff longer, or I don't know how they're going to do it, but thank Father that there's some relief for those who can, that there's an order been put out that's going to give them some breathing room, so people don't get too antsy, and because things get tight and people got kids, and just think about how much worse it would be if people, they can't work and then they still requiring you to pay your bills on time, and utilities, water and power bill and stuff. It would get real bad really, really fast in a lot of places. Like, there would be a mob burning businesses to the ground. Now you ain't gonna cut nobody else stuff off. We're gonna get the backup generator, backup whatever it is, to make sure everybody can be set free. People gonna do it. So I'm glad they put that there to give people some relief for those who actually can't work and make money, who's who just can't because of what's going on. So that's a blessing. But hey, Trina, you still get paid. So hey. It kind of works out, although, hey. Nevertheless, he clave unto the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, which made Israel to sin. He departed not therefrom. And Mesha, king of Moab, was a sheep master, and rendered unto the king of Israel 100,000 lambs and 100,000 rams with the wool. But it came to pass, when Ahab was dead, that the king of Moab rebelled against the king of Israel. And King Jehoram went out of Samaria at the same time, and numbered all of Israel. And he went and sent Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, saying, The king of Moab hath rebelled against me. Wilt thou go with me against Moab to battle? And he said, I will go up. I am as thou art, my people as thy people, and my horses as thy horses. And he said, Which way shall we go up? And he answered, The way through the wilderness of Edom. And the king of Israel went, and the king of Judah, and the king of Edom, and they fetched a compass of 7 days' journey, and there was no water for the host, and for the cattle that followed them. And the king of Israel said, Alas, that Yahuwah hath called these 3 kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab. But Jehoshaphat said, Is there not a prophet of Yahuwah, that we may inquire of Yahuwah by him? And one of the king of Israel's servants answered and said, Here is Elisha, the son of Shaphat, who poured water on the hands of Elijah. And Jehoshaphat said, The word of Yahuwah is with him. And the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Edom, went down to him. And Elisha said unto the king of Israel, What have I to do with thee? Get thee one of the prophets of thy father, and the prophets of thy mother. And the king of Israel said unto him, Nay, for Yahuwah hath called these 3 kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab. Remember yesterday we was talking about all the different prophets, and people know who's real and who's not. He said, look, why y'all come here looking for me? He said, go get one of the prophets that your mother and your father called and talked to and got wisdom from. Like, they looked at him like, because we know they're not true prophets of y'all, that's why we came looking for you. So, but people know, y'all. People know. Hey, Christina. Hey, girl. Hey. And Elisha said, As Yahuwah of hosts lives, before whom I stand, surely, were it not that I regard the presence of Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, I would not look toward thee, nor see thee. But now bring me a minstrel. And it came to pass, when the minstrel played, that the hand of Yahuwah came upon him. And he said, Thus saith Yahuwah, Make this valley full of ditches. For thus saith Yahuwah, Ye shall not see wind, neither shall ye see rain, yet the valley shall be filled with water, that ye may drink, both ye and your cattle and your beasts. And this is but a light thing in the sight of Yahuwah. He will deliver the Moabites also into your hand. And ye shall smite every fenced city and every choice city, and shall fell every good tree, and stop all the wells of water, and mar every good piece of land with stones. And it came to pass in the morning, when the meat offering was offered, that, behold, there came water by the way of Edom, and the country was filled with water. And when all the Moabites heard that the kings were come up to fight against them, they gathered all that were able to put their armor on, and upward, and stood in the border. And they rose up early in the morning, and the sun shone upon the water. And the Moabites saw the water on the other side as red as blood. And they said, This is blood, the kings are surely slain, and they have smitten one another. Now therefore Moab to the spoil. And when they came to the camp of Israel, the Israelites rose up and smote the Moabites, so that they fled before them. But they went forward, smiting the Moabites even in their country. And they beat down the cities, and on every good piece of land, and cast every man his stone, and filled it. And they stopped all the wells of water and felled all the good trees. And only in Ker-Hareseth they left the stones thereof. Howbeit, the slingers went about it and smote it. And, okay, got it. Howbeit, the slingers went about it and smote it. And when the king of Moab saw that the battle was too sore for him, he took with him 700 men that drew swords to break through, even unto the king of Edom, but they could not. Then he took his eldest son, that he should have reigned in his stead, and offered him for a burnt offering upon the wall. And there was a great indignation against Israel, and they departed from him and returned to their own land. Let me get a sip of water, y'all. Oh, there was another update. I'm sure everybody saw that too. All the schools, they went ahead and closed for the rest of the year. What I said y'all a couple weeks ago, I said they lying to y'all. I said they may not necessarily be lying, but they're not telling y'all the whole truth. I said they telling y'all 2 weeks right now to kind of keep the peace. I said because everybody can handle 2 weeks. I said, but as sure as I know that I'm black, I was born a female, my name is Pam. When we get close to the end of that 2 week deadline, they're going to extend it. I said the kids are not going back to school this year. Y'all remember when I was telling y'all that? Yesterday they officially gave the word. So, and that was before any of the states started saying. I think like 3 or 4 other states the day before had said that they were closing the school, the schools for the rest of the year. I told y'all that a couple weeks ago when this all went down. I was like, the kids is not going back to school. So, but that was the other thing I was thinking about. I said it was something else. That was it. I just remembered. Okay. 2 Kings chapter 4. Now there cried a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets unto Elisha, saying, Thy servant, my husband, is dead, and thou knowest that thy servant did fear Yahuwah, and the creditor is come to take unto him my 2 sons as bondmen. I hope they close the shipyard. You know what? They mentioned the shipyard yesterday, Christina. And they're kind of considered essential personnel because they are like, they're building the warships and stuff like that. But, you would think, this all of this is biological warfare anyway, which is why they're not telling you that. But that's why they keeping the shipyards going. Although there is now a case of somebody there at the shipyards having COVID-19, and they probably been in contact with thousands of other people. So it's probably thousands of other people there that need to be tested that haven't been tested yet or may not go get tested, but hopefully everybody is good, and maybe they were, I don't know, they weren't isolated coming from reading that article. So, but we'll see. But you're isolated though. You said you're out for a little while anyway on like medical leave or something, right? So you gotta keep still. Keep still. So, oh yeah, oh my gosh, that'll be a mess if a lot of them test positive. But most of them probably won't get sick. Only people who already have things going on with them and haven't been taking care of themselves. So, but okay. And Elisha said unto her, What shall I do for thee? Tell me what thou hast in thy house. And she said, Thy handmaid hath not anything in the house save a pot of oil. Then he said, Go, borrow the vessels abroad of all thy neighbors, even empty vessels, borrow not a few. And when thou art come in, thou shalt shut the door upon thee and upon thy sons, and thou shalt pour out into all those vessels, and thou shalt set aside that which is full. So she went in from him and shut the door upon her and upon her sons who brought the vessels to her, and she poured out. And it came to pass, when all the vessels were full, that she said unto her son, Bring me yet a vessel. And he said unto her, There is not a vessel more. And the oil stayed. I just thought about something, Christina, what you said to me, that you were out. And I'm not sure how long you've been out, but you've been out for like a couple weeks before all this started breaking out. So you was probably already out of there before all of this went down. So, God is faithful even in the small stuff that we don't even see, so that's good. So, but I'm glad to say. Then she came and told the man of Yah, and said, Go, sell the oil and pay thy debt, and live thou and thy children of the rest. And it fell on the day that Elisha passed to Shunem, where was a great woman, and she constrained him to eat bread. And it was so that as often as he passed by, he turned in thither to eat. And she said unto her husband, Behold, now I perceive that this is a holy man of Yahuwah, which passeth by us continually. Let us make a little chamber, I pray thee, on the wall, and let us set for him there a bed and a table and a stool and a candlestick. And it shall be, when he cometh to us, he shall turn in thither. And it fell on that day that he came thither, and he turned into the chamber and lay there. And he said to Gehazi his servant, Call this Shunammite. And when he had called her, she stood before him. And he said unto him, Say now unto her, Behold, thou hast been careful for us with all this care. What is to be done for thee? Wouldst thou be spoken? Bella, you gotta get out. Look, take that off and get another one. Okay? I'm sorry, y'all. And he said unto him, Say now unto her, Behold, thou hast been careful for us with all this care. What is to be done for thee? Wouldst thou be spoken for to the king or to the captain of the host? And she answered, I dwell among my own people. And he said, What then is to be done for her? And Gehazi answered, Verily, she hath no child, and her husband is old. And he said, Call her. And when he had called her, she stood at the door. And he said, About this season, according to the time of life, thou shalt embrace a son. And she said, Nay, my lord, thou art a man of Yah, do not lie unto thy handmaid. And the woman conceived and bare a son at that season that Elisha had said unto her, according to the time of life. And when the child was grown, it fell on a day that he went out with his father with the reapers. And he said unto his father, My head, my head. And he said to the lad, Carry him to his mother. And when he had taken him and brought him to his mother, he sat on her knees till noon, and then died. And she went up and laid him on the bed of the man of God, and shut the door upon him, and went out. And she called unto her husband, and said, Send me, I pray thee, one of the young men, and one of the asses, that I may run to the man of God, and come again. And he said, Where wilt thou go to him today? It is neither new moon nor Sabbath. And she said, It shall be well. Then she saddled an ass, and said to her servant, Drive and go forward, slack not thy riding for me, except I bid thee. So she went and came unto the man of Yahuwah at Mount Carmel. And it came to pass, when the man of Yahuwah saw her afar off, that he said to Gehazi his servant, Behold, yonder is that Shunammite. Run now, I pray thee, to meet her, and say unto her, Is it well with thee? Is it well with thy husband? Is it well with the child? And she answered, It is well. And when she came to the man of Yahuwah at the hill, she caught him by the feet, but Gehazi came near to thrust her away. And the man of Yahuwah said, Let her alone, for her soul is vexed within her. And Yahuwah hath hid it from me, and hath not told me. Then she said, Did I desire a son of my Lord? Did I not say, Do not deceive me? Then he said to Gehazi, Gird up thy loins, and take my staff in thy hand, and go thy way. If thou meet any man, salute him not. And if any salute thee, answer him not again, and lay my staff upon the face of the child. And the mother of the child said, As Yahuwah liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. And he arose and followed her. And Gehazi passed on before them, and laid the staff upon the face of the child. But there was neither voice nor hearing. Wherefore he went again to meet him, and told him, saying, The child is not awakened. And when Elisha was coming to the house, behold, the child was dead, and laid upon his bed. And he went in therefore, and shut the door upon them twain, and prayed unto Yahuwah. And he went up, and lay upon the child, and put his mouth upon his mouth, his eyes upon his eyes, and his hands upon his hands. And he stretched himself upon the child, and the flesh of the child waxed warm. Then he returned and walked into the house to and fro, and went up and stretched himself upon him. And the child sneezed 7 times, and the child opened his eyes. And he called Gehazi and said, Call this Shunammite. So he called her, and when she was coming unto him, he said, Take up thy son. And she went in and fell at his feet, and bowed herself to the ground, and took up her son, and went out. And Elisha came again to Gilgal, and there was a dearth in the land. And the sons of the prophets were sitting before them, and he said unto his servant, set on the great pot and seethe pottage for the sons of the prophets. And one went out into the field to gather herbs, and found a wild vine, and gathered thereof wild gourds, his lap full, and came and shared them into the pot of pottage, for they knew them not. So they poured out for the man to eat, and it came to pass that as they were eating of the pottage, that they cried out and said, O thou man of God, there is dearth in the pot, or there is death in the pot. No, I'm sorry, I said dearth, but it says death. I'm sorry. O man of God, there is death in the pot, and they could not eat thereof. And he said, bring meal. And he cast it into the pot and said, pour out for the people that they may eat. And there was no harm in the pot. And there came a man from Baal Shalisha, and brought the man of Yahuwah bread of the first fruits, 20 loaves of barley, and a full ear of corn, and the husk thereof. And he said, give unto the people that they may eat. And his servitor said, what should I set before this 100 men? And he said again, give the people that they may eat. For thus saith Yahuwah, they shall eat, and shall leave thereof. So he set it before them, and they did eat, and left thereof, according to the word of Yahuwah. Last chapter for the day, y'all. 2 Kings chapter 5. Tootie, you gotta keep still, okay? Okay. Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master, and honorable, because by him Yahuwah had given deliverance unto Syria, and he was also a mighty man in valor, but he was a leper. And the Syrians had gone out by companies, and had brought away captive out of the land of Israel a little maid, and she waited on Naaman's wife. And she said unto her mistress, would Yahuwah my Lord were there a prophet that is in Samaria, for he would recover him of his leprosy. And one went in and told his Lord, saying, thus and thus said the maid that is of the land of Israel. And the king of Syria said, go, and I will send a letter unto the king of Israel. And he departed, and took with him 10 talents of silver, and 6,000 pieces of gold, and 10 changes of raiment. And he brought the letter to the king of Israel, saying, now, when this letter is come unto thee, behold, I have therewith sent Naaman my servant with thee, that thou mayest recover him of his leprosy. And it came to pass, when the king of Israel had read the letter, that he rent his clothes, and said, am I God to kill and to make alive, that this man doth send unto me to recover a man of his leprosy? Wherefore consider, I pray you, and see how he seeketh a quarrel against me. And it was so, when Elisha the man of Yahuwah had heard that the king of Israel had rent his clothes, that he sent to the king, saying, wherefore hast thou rent thy clothes? Let him now come to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. But Naaman was wroth, and went away, and said, behold, I thought he would surely come out to me, and stand, and call on the name of Yahuwah his God, and strike his hand over the place, and recover the leper. Are not Abana and Pharpar, rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? May I not wash in them, and be clean? So he turned and went away in rage. Boy, I tell you, the pride and the arrogance of kings sometimes. They're people, sometimes, I ain't gonna say all people, but sometimes people who are of great stature or fame or have certain notoriety about themselves think they need to have a whole dog and pony show put on before them to do whatever it is they need to be done for them, and they're offended by being asked to go to do something simple because it's not glorious. It's not that go wash in a river. That is beneath me. Can't you sit here and do some magic tricks and voila, do that here in front of me and make me whole? That's what he wanted. And he said simply, go wash in the river 7 times and your skin will be well again. And he didn't want that, so he left him. He was pissed. Little girl, hey, I'm almost done. Okay, y'all. Let me finish reading this because she is doing the most. Okay. Stop. Okay. So he turned away and left in a rage. And his servants came near and spake unto him and said, My father, if the prophet had bid thee to do some great thing. Did I just say that? Yeah. Okay. If the prophet had bid thee to do some great thing, wouldst thou have not done it? How much rather then, when he said to thee, Wash and be clean? Then he went down and dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, according to the saying of the man of Yahuwah. And his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. Boy, he lucky. It still worked for him. After all that rigmarole, he didn't just did being mad because he had to just do something simple. And when he returned to the man of Yahuwah, he and all his company, and came and stood before him, and he said, Behold, now I know that there is no God in all the earth but in Israel. Now therefore I pray thee, take a blessing of thy servant. But he said, As Yahuwah liveth, before whom I stand, I will receive none. And he urged him to take it, but he refused. Oh, that the prophets today would have the same attitude. They're taking all kind of, you ain't gonna get a prophecy from me till you drop something in my bucket. Go ahead and grease the palm of my hands, brother. What you need from the Lord, I'll let you know. But go ahead, grease my palms first. And okay. All right. Thus saith the Lord. Man, come on. They're prophets. Profits. Prophets. All right, but it's very rare. Although Yahuwah's prophets, he has them throughout the land. Most of them are not his. Hey, chill. No, stop, Tootie. I'll let you write in a second. I'm almost done. I'm about to put you down. Chill. All right. But people know when there's a real prophet amongst them. And he urged him to take it, but he refused. And Naaman said, Shall there not then, I pray thee, be given to thy servant 2 mules, burden of the earth? For thy servant will henceforth offer neither burnt offering nor sacrifice unto other gods, but unto Yahuwah. And this thing Yahuwah pardon thy servant, that when thy master goeth into the house of Rimmon to worship there, and leaneth on my hand, and I bow myself in the house of Rimmon, when I bow down myself in the house of Rimmon, Yahuwah pardon thy servant in this thing. And he said unto him, Go in peace. So he departed him a little way. But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of Yahuwah, said, Behold, my master hath spared Naaman this Syrian, and not receiving at his hand that which he bought. But as Yahuwah liveth, I will run after him and take somewhat of him. Very, 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 very bad idea. So Gehazi followed after Naaman. And when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down from his chariot to meet him and said, Is all well? And he said, All is well. My master hath sent me, saying, Behold, even now there come to me from Mount Ephraim 2 young men of the sons of the prophets. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver and 2 changes of garments. And Naaman said, Be content, take 2 talents. And he urged him, and bound him 2 talents of silver in 2 bags with 2 changes of garments, and laid them upon 2 of his servants, and they bare them before him. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand and bestowed them in the house, and he let the men go, and they departed. He let the men go, and they departed. But when he went in and stood before his master, and Elijah said unto him, Whence comest thou, Gehazi? And he said, Thy servant went no whither. And he said unto him, Went not mine heart with thee, when the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee? Is it a time to receive money, and to receive garments, and olive yards, and vineyards, and sheep, and oxen, and men servants, and maid servants? The leprosy therefore of Naaman shall cleave unto thee, and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence as a leper, white as snow. So it does not pay to be deceitful, especially when you are the servant or the protege or the personal assistant of the prophet, a true prophet of Yahuwah. Because did you not think that Yahuwah was not gonna tell him what you had just did? They seem to know everything. It's not that they know everything. Yahuwah gives them insight. Did you not think you was gonna get caught, and then you went in there and studied his face and lied to his face? Yep. So them gifts you just received of this king, that very reason he came and the gifts were turned away, is his leprosy jumped on you. It just is a bad idea. Just don't do it. All right, y'all. So that was our reading for today. That was 2 Kings 3, 4, and 5. All right, hop down to it. So if you all right, y'all, we're gonna have to go because she's doing the most. If you missed the reading, go back and read it, or you can hit play. You can just listen to it on the Bible app or whatever. Yep, so true. Greeting. Yes, Trina, I tell you, you just got to learn how to be content with what you have. Be content with what you have. All right. When you're ready for more, Yahuwah will bless you with more when you can handle it. So with that being said, beautiful people, I love you. I'm gonna go ahead and do this blessing, which is found in where? That's right. Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. May Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us his peace. All right, y'all. I love y'all, and I'll see you in the morning. Peace.